Hello everyone and welcome to the Journey to Grandmaster series, and today I will be showcasing a match I had against a 1448 rated opponent, and it starts off with d4, knight f6, bishop f4, c5, and I go d5, and this is kind of a London Benoni setup, and queen b6, knight c3, and if queen were to take on b2, there's lines with bishop d2, and if queen b6, you can go e4, taking the center, d6, and then you can have like a broad pawn center, you just develop behind it, and you should be chilling. You could probably even break e5 at some point. But knight c3, and instead of taking on queen takes b2 here, he plays e6, attacking the d5 pawn. I play e4, protecting it, and e takes d5 is a mistake, because after he takes d5, it's clear that his knight will never develop to c6, and knight plays d6, locking it down. This is kind of a weakness, but kind of not. And here I play a3, which is not a good move, and this sets up a trap. And I used to know theory for these types of positions. I used to know a lot of theory, but since I've spent the last almost 2 years studying endgames, I kind of forgot all the theory. So here, I tried to trap his queen, and he did take queen takes b2, which is the trap. And here I forgot what move to do, so I did bishop d2, but it's the wrong order. And here the queen can just escape. If I had played instead bishop b5 check, now this queen is kinda in a bad spot, because let's say bishop d7, bishop d2, bishop takes d5, and now rook b1, and he has to take, and I can just take the bishop. The queen has to move to a2, and then you just win the rook after something like king d8, knight takes a8. But I did bishop d2, which is actually the wrong move. I got mixed with the move order, because in some lines you actually do retreat to d2 very early. But queen b6, and here, since I forgot all theory and stuff of the London type Benoni setups, I just mixed moves I knew from the theory, hoping they would work. So I played rook b1 attacking the queen, queen c7, and then I played another move in another line of a theory I vaguely remember, so bishop c4 protecting the pawn. And this move doesn't really do anything in this certain position. And now he plays a6, which is kind of similar to the line of a theoretical position I know of. So I play a4, which is best, and this is also in the theory I vaguely remember, theoretical line I vaguely remember. And yeah, he plays bishop f5, and now this is like a new territory type stuff for me, because from here I was just playing random moves that I remembered in some vague theory. So knight f3 developing, bishop e7, castles, rook e1, putting pressure on the e-file, rook e8 protecting the bishop. I play a5, it's a dubious move. The bishop preferred knight h4, booting the bishop off this diagonal, where it's kinda looking at my rook. For example, if bishop g4, f3, bishop c8, and then the engine wants g4 starting a kingside attack, or a5 continuing the plans of putting pressure on this pawn or maybe an outpost. But I play a5 immediately, and actually the queen cannot take on a5. I mean, it can, but it equalizes the game after something like rook takes b7, and then he has to go back to defend, and now you got a rook on the 7th rank. Or let's say knight h4, which is best, again, booting the bishop, and then bishop d7 equalizes. But in this position, instead of taking with queen takes a5, my opponent plays knight b to d7, which is a mistake. And here the only move to keep the equal position is knight h4, only move. And this kinda, well, you can actually take the bishop here if you want taking pressure off this diagonal. The other move the engine wants is G4, starting an attack on the king side. But in this position, instead of playing knight h4, I play knight a4, which is another bad move. And the point of this is to kind of jump in with an outpost. But my plan was not good anyways. And my opponent plays rook a b8. And I play another bad move, knight b6. And the best move was actually knight h4 again, booting the bishop off and potentially taking it. And the other move here was actually rook b3, heading to e3 here to put pressure on the bishop. But I played the bad move knight b6, knight takes b6, rook takes b6, and my opponent plays knight d7, attacking my rook. And here I play rook b1, and after I played rook b1 in the game, I realized I should have won rook b3 instead, but I played rook b1 very fast, and my opponent plays the mistake b5, and this allows me to equalize the position with en passant a takes b6, rook takes b6, rook takes b6, queen takes b6, and now here I play another mistake, because the engine wants me to play knight h4 in every move that I do. In this position, I play the mistake queen e2, and this was to put more pressure on the bishop and to put pressure on the a6 pawn. And in this position, my opponent plays a5, which is a mistake. And the reason why he couldn't take this pawn is because it equalizes. It's another mistake. If my opponent if my opponent takes the c2 pawn, it's a mistake because of rook. The engine gives bishop g5, bishop g6, takes, and then knight e5, and then knight takes e5, rook takes, pawn, queen d2, getting out of the pin, and then d takes, and then some move f4. That's how white can remain equal here if the bishop were to take on c2. And the best move for my opponent was actually knight f6, but he didn't play any of that. He actually played a more worse move than bishop takes c2. He played a5. And this move is worse than if he were to take on c2, because now I have the only move, bishop b5, keeping the advantage. And here I'm pinning the knight to the rook. And after another mistake, a4, the best move here is actually knight h4. And now the bishop cannot defend the knight anymore. The bishop has to move. For example, bishop d3, queen takes d3, c4, queen takes c4. And now the knight can move. And then queen takes a4, and you're just like a lot of material up here. But my opponent plays a4, and I play bishop takes a4 very fast. And instead of playing knight h4, the best move, I play bishop takes a4 pretty fast. And my opponent plays another bad move. This whole match was just terrible. This whole match was very bad, because it was bad move after bad move. So my opponent plays king f8. And now I finally play bishop h4, booting the bishop off the diagonal, defending the knight. So the knight, instead of the bishop moving anywhere, which is actually a better move than what he played, he plays knight e5. And now knight takes f5, free bishop, and then rook a8. In this position I play f4, and f4 is to attack the knight, and if the knight ever moves, my knight can take his bishop for free. And he plays bishop h4. And here I played too fast. I didn't see that the bishop was just hanging and I could just take it. For example, rook takes a4, and then f takes, and I'm fine here. I'm actually winning after d takes if he takes my knight, and checkmate. But instead, because I played too fast, I played g3. And now his bishop and his knight is hanging, so bishop... No, so he plays c4 check. Checking my king, I move my king. Bishop f6, now I take his knight for free, bishop takes. And here, I cement my bishop on an outpost attacking his rook, so rook a2. And this is a bad move, because his attack on this file, or this rank, is actually way too slow. Due to this move I had, knight takes d6, and now the bishop cannot take because of checkmate. And then, instead of taking, my opponent plays rook takes c2, and his attack is too slow because I just take his bishop, rook takes, and now he's threatening checkmate, but I'm threatening checkmate immediately, way faster than he's threatening checkmate. For example, if I play some random move, he has checkmate, but I have checkmate first, so GG's. And queen e8 is checkmate. This match was completely terrible. Bad moves after bad moves. I completely missed the move knight h4 for most of the match. And yeah, I was not that happy with this match. But yeah, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Have a nice day, and peace out.